Welcome, welcome. We're here for day 4, Radio Row, Moscone Center, home of the worst paper towel dispenser in America. It's just the bathrooms need a little improvement in here. They really do. But it is fantastic to have you here once again. Welcome to Damon Brews Plus. We're brought to you by Ike Sandwiches. My man right now is just serving up delicious sandwiches right all over Media Row. Thanks to our good friends at the Dubliner West Portal and, of course, Sleeper. You can sign up for a $100 deposit match at Sleeper right now when you use promo code Damon. And we've got a show that is sort of, we're leaving room for some spontaneity, which is one of the reasons why we're joining you just a tad later than usual today. We're about to see Devin Hester, the Hall of Famer, take a seat right next to me, and we're going to talk about the art of returning a football, because there was really, in the history of the league, no one better than him. Jim Gray is going to be joining us today. Chase Sr. should be stopping on by today. We're going to be talking some 49ers with him, and the news that Roger Craig really seems to be headed to the Hall of Fame, which would be fantastic. He is more than deserving. It's been far too long. One of the things, though, that we will talk about today is how it was, a couple of years ago, where what used to be the playing ground of the NBA, Christmas Day, there was like a hostile takeover from the NFL on Christmas Day. And the NBA, let me tell you, has basically had their own little hostile takeover here on Media Row. There is as much, if not more, talk about the NBA trade deadline as there is this coming football game on Sunday. I'm not kidding. It's not just because we are looking at Warriors and been waiting for Jonathan Kuminga to be traded or anything like that. This has been a re-hijacking of some very famous ground. It's supposed to be nothing but NFL in here, but there's an awful lot of NBA conversation. And let me just tell you, when it comes to talking about the Warriors and the move that they just made, trading Jonathan Kuminga and Buddy Hield to Atlanta for Kristaps Porzingis, I don't know what to tell you, Coach. I mean, I don't know what to tell you, Coach. I don't know what to tell you, kids. I don't know what to tell you, audience. Joe Lacob, Kirk Lacob, and Mike Dunleavy are officially now light years behind. I mean, there's no other way to say it than they've been poor caretakers of the twilight of Steph Curry's career. And that's probably being friendly about it, all things considered, and the moves that they didn't make and the thumb twiddling and all of this Kuminga drama to just get you Kristaps Porzingis, who, again, as an idea, feels like a great idea. But as a healthy player who contributes, there's not much of an idea there. Right here, Devin Hester. We're talking about Hall of Famer sitting on down here. Devin, thank you very much for joining me. Really appreciate it. Come on in. Hey, how are you? Oh, we got multiple microphones. And who are you, sir? Mark. How are you, Mark? It's nice to meet you. All right, first of all, Devin, I feel like I got to get right to the heart of the matter here. I grew up a Bears fan. I freaking love you, man. I love you, man. It is great to finally meet you. Thanks so much for joining me here today. Really appreciate your time. How are you? Are you enjoying your Media Row?
I'm enjoying it. It's always a thrill whenever you get an opportunity.
Let's get that mic up. There we go. There we go.
Is it on? I don't think it's on.
One.
The trade microphones.
It's always a pleasure, whenever you get an opportunity to be in a room full of all your peers, all the great athletes and things like that, and be able to sit down and talk with you guys, talk football. So I'm and I'm happy to be here and appreciate you guys for having me.
Thank you very much. The Hall of Fame jacket looks fantastic on you. Really does. You're so suited for that jacket. Your career was absolutely spectacular, man. You were electricity with football in your hands. So needless to say, the amount of football fans that I think have watched you play and loved it throughout the years, it's just, you didn't need to be a Bears fan to like Devin Hester. You know what I mean?
Most definitely, man. I feel like what we did on the field solidified what type of player I am, the type of team I was built around. Special team guys did a great job of their assignments. Special team coach did a phenomenal job of creating mismatches and finding ways to create more holes and opportunity to get me in the end zone.
So a lot of the people that you're going to sit down and talk to today, just like me, took an airplane to get here. I live in San Francisco. I cover the San Francisco 49ers and have for about 20 years. One of their great weak spots was special teams until this year, where they really improved their special teams because they got what I think is a pretty good modern returner in Sky Moore.
Right.
He did a really nice job this year for the 49ers. I'd like to talk to you about the intricacies of the return game. Is there really a play ever being run, or is this possibly the most instinctual position on the football field?
I would say it has to do with a lot of instinct. The guy that you put back there has to be special. You can't just put your best receiver back there, your best running back there. It's two different types of ball games. It comes with vision, speed, awareness, and also learning how to set up blocks are some of the key factors that you need to have in order to be a great returner.
Is it receive the ball, run as hard as possible, or like you said, that can't be it because you need to set up blocks. You have to go from third gear back down to second gear, set something up, fourth gear, goodbye, turbo.
Most definitely, you hit it right on the head. And like I say, a lot of guys can't do that. And some great athletes out there, which are starting receivers, starting running backs, but would never have success at that caliber.
Why isn't there more crossover? I mean, a running back's got to set up blocks all over the place too. Why isn't there more crossover at the position? How come more? I've always thought that, wide receiver 1, wide receiver 2, they just don't want to take the beating. Mm-hmm. And teams make such huge investments in those positions. They don't want to see that beating taken. But it really does, like you're saying, it feels like there is a different animal in the return game.
It is, most definitely. And for that animal to be there, he has to have the heart, right? The lion is the king of the jungle because he has the biggest heart, right? The cheetah's not back there. He's the fastest, right? So you have to have heart, too. And it's a crazy position that you have to put back there with a guy that's crazy enough to say that at the end of the day, this ball floating in the air, and I know these guys are screaming down the field that I'm still going to field this ball and make something happen. A lot of guys can't do that.
What do you think of the modern kickoff rules that we're looking at right now? Do you like them? Do you dislike them? Has it made the game any better, more interesting, or safer? I can't tell. I would just go back to the way it used to be if it were up to me.
I love the new rule.
You do?
I love
Why?
it. Why? Because it's more like a punt return when you watch it. For one, you're fielding the ball, nobody's moving, and it's one line and it's one wave. And what I mean by one wave is if I crease this line, it's nobody behind him, right? So for me as a punt return, if I make the first guy miss, normally I'm past the first line, right? Because they all coming down. And so in that situation, you got to have a guy that understands angles. You got to have a guy that understands the whole opening before it even opens.
Would you have had even more success in this setup? Would you have been even more dangerous?
They would have changed this rule in year 2 with me returning. Most definitely.
I love it. Now, who's this gentleman next to you? Tell me a little bit about what you guys are doing here together.
So we're here. I partner with Port Ryan. And it's a great cause to give back to the old veteran guys that retired. And a lot of people don't know in the NFL, the insurance is cut off in 5 years. And so these guys came up with a great scheme to create a platform where they're raising money for those type of guys, the guys that's in need for security, insurance policies, and things like that to help out to benefit, some of the key injuries that they had.
Why hasn't the NFL partnered with some insurance underwriter to just get player, like, I'm not saying that your family, your kids, and your wife are covered, but if you play a single snap of regular season football, I think you should have lifetime medical coverage paid for by the league. With Allstate, with all these insurance companies out there, how come that has not happened?
Now you're speaking my language. I've been warning that since I retired, and I understood that as a player, I didn't know that after 5 years, insurance get cut off. All the other sports does it. NBA does it. Baseball does it. And unfortunately, we're the guys that get banged up the most. The most.
Not even close second.
And it's really unfair. I do believe if you have to play a certain amount of years, if you're that guy that played 5-6 years, then you should be capable. Because I have injuries that was nagging when I played that I was able to get over and continue to play, and they went away. But now that I'm 8, 9, 10 years out of the league, those same injuries are coming back. And I'm not even that old yet. So imagine the guys that's in their 50s and their 60 years old. Injuries are coming up that they didn't even have the doctors that was prepared for those type of injuries back in the day that they do have now. So this is a great cause, and I feel like they should come away with finding a way where you give these guys that play, 5-6 years in the league or more, to have life insurance.
It's got to happen. It really needs to happen.
Well, Coach Ditka brought Devin and I together. 17 years ago, we decided, we learned of this problem. We learned that the players that played, as Devin was saying, before 92 did not have hardly anything. And Coach was filling that gap. Over the last 17 years, we've raised millions of dollars to help these players that have fallen on hard times. Tonight, we have our big Cigar with the Stars party. We'll raise $500,000 in one night for former NFL players.
Nothing like smoking cigars for health awareness.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's
absolutely.
fantastic.
Super hard to find here in San Francisco, a place that you can smoke that many cigars. But we're going to have a great time. There's going to be tons of players there. And we're going to raise a lot of money for some great folks. As Devin said, some of these injuries don't show up for 10 or 15 years later. And we fly guys all over the country getting their knees replaced, helping them with health problems, filling those gaps with financial assistance.
Well,
It's
I think
a great cause.
if you look at it this way, of all the causes and what people have sat down to talk to me about, I'm as passionate about this as possible. And Devin, I'd like to get you back on this, please. And thank you very much for joining us, sir. I know that they're trying to make the game safer. I feel it's a lot more cosmetic than anything else. Trying to take the danger out of football is like trying to remove the gravity from skydiving. It is going to be dangerous forever. But I think the league needs to grow rosters. I think there needs to be more men on the field. I think you need more substitutions in the game to protect guys a little bit, sometimes, like in Christian McCaffrey's sake, for himself almost. And I know that you guys got to get running soon, but I really, really hope that the message that you are sending here resonates with the commissioner. It is time to take better care of the players who have made many people billions of dollars. Correct. This can be solved with a partnership. This can be underwritten. This is an easy thing, and the PR alone would be phenomenal for the NFL. I really hope it happens.
Most definitely, man. Like you said, this is, I mean, for guys that played 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years or more in the league, deserve some type of pinchment where you're guaranteeing life insurance, and they don't realize something as small as that, as much money that they make, would change so many lives.
Absolutely,
so many lives of retired NFL players. I hear it all the time when we have meetings at the when we meet up at the Hall of Fame. The last 2 years I've been there, and how many athletes that wear these gold jackets, their tears are falling when we in the room when it's just nothing but Hall of Fame, and the frustration and the disappointment that they have in the league for not stepping up and saying, why don't we give these type of players life insurance? And that's all. They're not begging for no money.
Right.
They're begging for life insurance because there is some medical injuries that they're having that I'm hearing about. I had to pay $20,000 to replace my knee. I had to pay $15,000 to replace my shoulder, and they don't have it.
Right. I tell you, you left such an impact, obviously, on the field as a Hall of Famer. If this is something that you can really help push through, your impact will be one of the greatest impacts in NFL history. I really hope that it happens. I really do. Thank you for joining me, Devin.
Thank you
very, very much. It was a pleasure.
Thank you.
You were bad man.
Appreciate it so much, man.
Thank you very, very much.
All righty.
Devin Hester, that guy could bring it to the house. I mean, the house. And this is something that just Larry Krueger and I have been talking about not even a couple weeks ago, how it's time to take care of players better than they're being taken care of. I mean, it is ridiculous with all the business that is being done around the NFL, with all of the exclusive partnerships that football makes billions of dollars off of, that they haven't found an insurer that takes care of their players into the end of that player's day. Like Devin said, you can have a problem on a football field that you don't even detect until years after you're done playing football. So it's officially time for that to happen, and I'm glad that we were able to have that conversation. Again, thank you very much for joining me. It's great to see so many regulars here in the chat. Thank you so much for being here today. Yeah, we got saying in the mix, I didn't know that they lose their insurance after 5 years. Look, one of the reasons why Phillip Rivers, I think, went back to play football this year was to get his entire family reinsured. I'm sorry, Maz, what do you got? Maz. Bach, what do you got?
This is Dustin from VC.
Oh, Dustin, please come on over. Dustin, it's great to have you here. You know, we have been talking so much about everything other than football this week. We've got the NBA trade deadline, and obviously with Kuminga being here and me covering the Warriors for years, this has been half of what we've talked about. This is maybe the least sexy Super Bowl in terms of star power we've seen in a really long time. This is Dustin from Veasan, which I absolutely think does a great job. I've been to your studios.
Yeah.
I love going to pop in Vegas. My old producer on this show was John Goulet.
Yes, we've talked. John Goulet is one of my great friends. He's a great guy. I have to tell him that we caught up here.
Please do.
Talk to me about this Warriors trade. I'm gonna interview you now in your own show.
No, please.
Is it a precursor to something bigger? Or do they believe that Porzingis is going to be healthy and play?
Porzingis, you know, he would be a great fit in with the Warriors offense if he wasn't always being fit for a walking boot. This to me is a ridiculous. If it is a trade that leads to something bigger in this offseason, well, I want to tell the Warriors they just blew yet another year of Steph Curry. Just let it fall off the tree as if there's more, plenty more leaves to fall. This guy's running out of leaves falling off of his tree. And for them to just say, well, the 2025-26 season, we're just going to kick the can down the road is insulting to me.
You only have a window with a player at that level for so long. Now he's going to age gracefully. But any regrets about the Jimmy Butler deal a year ago? I know he's hurt, so it's a little bit difficult,
right.
But you kind of put all your eggs in that basket, and Jimmy Butler is a fine player. He's not the special player that he was in the past. So you're right. This window with Steph, I'm not really sure what the blueprint is going forward to fix this.
It's kind of nuts that they went ahead and just completely had a look. So Jimmy fit in really nice, and now he's injured. He's damaged goods. The Warriors had a 2-timeline plan that without Wiseman being a good player and without Kuminga being a good player did not work, and they should have pivoted off that. They kept on holding out on Kuminga, and that clearly wasn't being fit. Nobody, Steve Kerr especially, liked him for whatever reasons. So it's ridiculous to see them stay. It'd be like re-upping when you're sitting on like 2-6 offsuit in a poker game. I just don't understand why they twiddled their thumbs on a losing hand for so long. Anyways,
yeah.
Enough of all that. Make this Super Bowl sexier for me. Give me a reason to really think that this is a Super Bowl that I'm going to remember for the rest of my life, because I think this is Seattle against the number loud. I think the Seahawks win and cover and all good things in that regard.
Patriots are going to cover.
Oh, okay.
I took the 5. I was on the air live at night when the number ballooned from 3.5 to 5. Took the 5 immediately. Dogs have cashed 5 in a row in the Super Bowl. Underdogs are on a run here. I think it's to be a low-scoring game. So in terms of excitement, you might be few and far between with the splash plays.
Okay.
But the fourth quarter will be relevant. That is my thought. And if the Super Bowl comes down to the fourth quarter, that's all you need. And I'll paint the picture here. You've got everyone here talking about X's and O's and matchups and cornerbacks and linebackers and offensive line play. The Super Bowl has nothing to do with football. The 2-week buildup, I believe, is something that closes the gap between the better team, Seattle, and the lesser team in New England. And the Patriots are galvanized. They have so many rallying cries. Everyone's talking about the schedule. One of the worst schedules in the Super Bowl era, but they're here. Talk about the path. You've got the Chargers with no offensive line. You've got Texans and Stroud.
Did I see that, like, the Patriots had 14 weeks of fired coaches on their schedule or something like that?
Yeah, well, you get the Jets twice. That helps a lot.
Yeah.
And I just think that everything about that you don't belong here is you're going to get the best shot out of the Patriots. And more importantly, if we're going to go to the sidelines, they have the experience in Super Bowls. Not Mike Vrabel. Josh McDaniels. Say whatever you want for him as a head coach. He'll never be a head coach again because that franchise should fold in that process.
Right.
But it's his 10th Super Bowl. He understands how to operate, not just the game, these 2 weeks in the preparation.
Yeah.
And I think that is massive for this game.
I think that without a doubt, the amount of distractions that you get during the week are amazing. But then the game kicks off, and it's just a football game for the players an awful lot. Any hesitation backing New England based on the fact, and I understand that they ran into bad weather at home and then in Denver. I mean, Sean Payton kicks a field goal. I don't even think New England's in this game. So I I've been more impressed by New England's defense than I thought I would be, and have been thoroughly unimpressed by their offense in 2 playoff games in a row now. So I think they're about to actually face the best defense that they're going to see in this postseason.
Yeah, I would say I think both defenses are going to control this game. You're going to be looking at a low-scoring game. So when it's a low-scoring game, I'll take the 4.5, 5 points, because this feels like it's right on the edge of a field goal. Maybe more like the opening number of 3.5, which where the spread was as soon as we found out who was playing. I think we're looking at around a field goal game. That's what it comes down to. And the fourth quarter mattering in a low-scoring game, that's why I like New England, because I'm catching points. And if they're going to win, in order to be successful against Seattle, they can't run and gun. They can't go up and down the field. They have to make it low possession. They have to make it low scoring. They don't have the weapons for that type of fight. So if they can control that aspect, the key to this game offensively for both teams is, can you be respectable running the football? You're not going to be successful. You're not going to have a good running day, but can you at least mix it in? I'm talking about it like the rush game is like when you're drinking 12 beers deep, but you mix in a few waters.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily about fixing you right then and there, but over the long haul, you'll be less hungover in the morning.
You need a pace car. You got to work in a pace car.
That's how you treat the run game here. You mix it in here and there to keep the defense honest. So maybe there's a shot or two to take later, but I don't expect a lot of action, and I think because of that, it leans more towards New England style of play.
Has it moved anywhere by today? Is it still sitting at 5, 5.5 most places?
4.5, 5.
Okay.
4.5, 5. Total's 45.5. I think it's going to be low scoring.
When do the sharps usually come in with their action? Do they do it early or late?
That's what we're all waiting for. I think it's very curious that number is still sitting where it's sitting, because at this point in the week, we usually get a Billy Walters, the best professional bettor out there, someone like that, to go somewhere, get approved for a certain amount of money, and lay it down on one side. And what that creates is a trickle down. So I'm very curious, if we get that action today, tomorrow, Saturday, where does this number go?
What's the kickoff line? What do you think it is at kickoff?
So I've been wrong about it. I thought it would get back down to 3.5. I think we're looking at 5. We'll never get to 6, because once it gets to 6 on principle, people who took 3.5 would come back the other way and take the points. But I do believe we can get to 5.5. I think once someone puts down the sharp action on Seattle, there'll be a flurry of bets to follow the leader, and then we'll probably get to 5.5.
A trillion different, gambling apps have people into prop bets, player props now more than ever. Give me a few standouts that you would recommend that you like.
All right, so this one I love. Over 2.5 players with a pass attempt, plus $1.60. Over 3 of the last 4. Kenny Pickett had to come in last year at the end. He threw a pass. That was your third quarterback. Year before, Juwan Jennings did it for San Francisco. We didn't have it in the Kansas City Philly one, but we did have Cooper Kupp and Joe Mixon throwing passes. I didn't even remember Mixon threw a pass, but that also played. I also love Hunter Henry, 15-1.
Who's more likely to drop the razzle-dazzle?
Oh, like a crazy play?
No, do you think that the extra passer will come from the Seattle side or New England side?
Oh, that's a good question.
Yeah.
Well, Cooper Kupp has a history. I think that plays, but I think New England's going to have to be in their bag. They're going to have to come up with something creative to throw them off the scent a little bit. So I think it might actually be New England, even though I don't know who the player would be. Maybe a Mac Hollins or DeMario Douglas, something of that nature.
I like it. Any defensive props stand out to you in this game?
We're getting a lot of sacks. Over 5.5 sacks is even money. I think Seattle's defensive line is going to get to make. He sacked 5 times in each playoff game. So if we're baking in 5 from then, we just need 1 or 2 from the other side and New England. I think that's absolutely plausible. Over 5.5 sacks. You can get big numbers on DeMarcus Lawrence to be the MVP. If he has 2 sacks, I want to say I have like 40-1 or 10-1 on him to have a sack in each half. A huge number on that. I think all the sack plays, anything you want to do with that is absolutely playable in the Super Bowl, because offensive line is an issue. Offensive line is an issue on the interior for both of these teams. That's where they're susceptible. I do think sack props are the way to look.
I never like taking a quarterback for MVP, which means I lose a ton of those bets, because that's the way the world sees it. Tell me about Jackson Smith-Njigba. Do you like him for maybe MVP?
That seems to be a very popular belief, because let's be fair. If Sam Darnold has a big day, it's because Jackson Smith-Njigba also had a big day. If Sam Darnold throws for 250 yards, but 110 are from Jackson Smith-Njigba.
Right, he's in the end zone multiple times. He's going to get the Jerry Rice treatment, I think.
I understand that. My favorite play is Kenneth Walker, 8-1, even though I said I don't think he's going to have a good rushing day. He's going to be the bell cow, and New England's bad in the red zone. He's great at catching the ball as well. If he has 2 touchdowns, and there's only 3 or 4 touchdowns in this game, I like him. And for New England, Hunter Henry, I want to say he's 110-1. Huge number. He's a long shot. But that is the matchup that is best for New England to attack through the air. We've got a Seattle defense that's great at everything except covering tight ends. Hunter Henry could be the go-to guy with Diggs and Hollins and Douglas and Butte taken away by those corners. I think Hunter Henry has a monster day, 15-1 to lead the game in receiving yards.
Ooh, okay. I wasn't even thinking about that, but there you go. I like that. Anything else? Anything else that's deep in your bag of tricks? I'm officially not recommending it, but I want to tell you about it. Do you have any of those 3 a.m, let's make a bad choice casino bets for me?
Oh, I've got one. We're going to go Jason Myers MVP. It's like 145-1. The kicker. If it's like you started with, if this ends up being a hideous, ugly, disgusting game that no one's excited about, take you back to the Rams losing to New England not that long. I think it was 13-3. Well, what if that touchdown never comes? With both these defenses being so good, if Jason Myers has 3-4 field goals and one of them is from like 50 or 60, Jason Myers could be your MVP.
I mean, the network would be shitting itself at that point.
Yes.
There's no doubt. But, man, this was an awful lot of fun. Thank you. Tell everyone about where they can find you, follow you, and everything you're doing on VSiN, please.
All right, Dustin Swedelson. I host Cashing Out weeknights from, 11 p.m. to 2 a.m. Eastern. Also, you can check out VSiN YouTube TV, the VSiN Watch app, Sirius XM channel 158, radio affiliates everywhere.
That's great, Dustin. Thank you for coming on by, man.
Thank
I really
you, Damon.
appreciate
it. Was an honor.
It was a really nice to meet you. And that was easy, man. It feels like we speak the same language. It feels like we both lost a lot of money in casinos.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. It's called trauma bonding.
It was. It feels good. Thank you very much. Thank you for sharing my pain and your pain. I appreciate it. Thank you very much to Dustin for coming on by from VSiN. Great stuff. Jim Gray in the surroundings. We have Jim Gray in just a moment joining us. Fantastic. We will talk to Jim. I see my friend Dave Benz, who, if you are here in the Bay Area, you remember from, what was it, CNBC, CB, whatever it was back then. It's changed like 6 different times. But we're going to have Dave Benz joins us. He's got a brand new ticketing app that he's very, very excited about. I've even downloaded it on my phone. It's really cool. So we're going to talk to Dave about that. But first, one of the single most recognizable and famous sports broadcasters in the history of all of sports. Jim Gray is walking on over right here and right now. Jim, thank you very much. Grab that one. Damon,
how are you,
good
sir?
To see
nice
you
to
again.
See you.
Thank you very, very much. He's like, I don't need cans. I'm Jim Gray.
I can hear you.
He's like, I
Nice
come with installed microphones and headphones because I'm Jim frickin' Gray, for goodness sakes. How many Super Bowls have you been around? You were probably part of, 30 broadcasts? And how many have you just been around now, Jim?
I believe this is 46.
Wow. 46.
Yeah,
Super
and a
Bowls,
lot of them
man.
were on the radio, live on the radio, or live on the television on the sideline. So, and the pregame and so forth. So it's been a good run, and we're still here having fun.
Still here having fun, man. It's great to see you. Thank you so much. I know that you and Tom Brady have put together a museum of excellence at the Fontainebleau that I got to hear about. First of all, is it half your stuff?
It has everything. It's got 325 of the country and the world's greatest sports artifacts at the Fontainebleau on the second floor of the Hall of Excellence.
But it was actually your stuff, right?
A lot of it was. Yes, a lot of it was. I'd say about 60 to 65% of it is owned by me and Tom, and the rest we have private contributions, loaned for display from other museums, other halls of fame, the Golf Hall of Fame, the Naismith Memorial Basketball Hall of Fame, Pro Football, Tennis Hall of Fame, and Graceland, believe it or not, has given us some stuff. So we display all of this, and we have other great athletes who have come forward and allowing us to display a lot of their items as well.
So Jim Gray Curator is now part of the title.
Well, in this instance, yes. But let me give you some advice. Don't build a museum.
Don't curate.
It's been an 8-year labor of love, and it's hard. It's hard because, you're asking people to turn over, in many instances, their most prized possessions.
Yeah.
And now we have to, not only secure them, but portray all of that excellence in a passion. And we do, that we're quite proud of.
What was the hardest thing for you to let go of and separate from as you made a donation to your own museum? Was there something that you had at any point in time? I can't read any of that.
I had a couple of things from Muhammad Ali that I loved having in my home that I like to look at every day. He drew a painting for me. So that's very rare and unique. Something that Leroy Neiman did is now in the museum. The first painting that he ever did, our great sports artist, back in 1964 of Cassius Clay / Muhammad Ali. So I hated seeing that go, but everything else I'm glad to put in the museum, because all of these things that were given to me by all of these great athletes at great moments of excellence, you know, they gave them to me to have, and now it's good to share them with the public that they earned them in front of. And I asked Tom, we've been partners on the radio for a long time, doing our Let's Go podcast on Sirius XM, and before that, the pregame and halftimes on Monday Night Football. And I said, when he broke record 983, I said, what do you do with all of these balls and jerseys? He says, I put them in a warehouse and I have them in storage. I said, we should open a museum with all my stuff and all your stuff, and we should call it the Hall of Excellence. And he said, that's a good idea.
I heard you have, how did you connect with the Fountain Blue?
The Fountain Blue, Jeffrey Sofer is the owner of the Fountain Blue. He's a huge sports fan, and obviously has the Fountain Blue in Miami. So he's and his father, Donnie Sofer, big sports fans, and Tom and Jeff are good friends. And he opened up this beautiful hotel in Las Vegas, and it's just the best place in Las Vegas. And he wanted to be the home, so we said, you know what? Let's do it. So we're on the second floor. And when you come into the museum to see these artifacts, you're given a guided tour by Morgan Freeman.
Oh,
so the voice of God.
Absolutely.
And then you push your iPhone on any of the individual artifacts. Jackie Robinson's bat that broke the color barrier. Kobe Bryant's net from 81-point game. Tom Brady's 7 rings. Any artifact, you put your phone on it. And then you see the highlight where that artifact was actually used on the iPhone. And then you hear the story of it. And we have the people who tell the stories of those artifacts. Bob Costas for baseball. Jim Nance for golf.
Hello, friends.
Marv Albert for basketball. Mary Carrillo for tennis. Andres Cantor for soccer. Mike Emmerich, great Doc Emmerich for hockey.
Yeah. And
Oprah Winfrey for entertainment.
Very cool. So what's Morgan Freeman ding you for a voiceover?
Morgan Freeman did that because he loves the Hall of Excellence.
That's fantastic.
Morgan Freeman was unbelievable. We went down and saw him in Alabama, where he lives, and we had a wonderful day with him. And what a joy of a gentleman Morgan Freeman is, and to hear him voice this stuff and to be in his presence and the joy that he did it with, I get goosebumps still when I hear all of it on the video and the audio that we have. And he was just great. And Fred Spector, I don't know if you watched the Golden Globes, but there was a man named Fred Spector. He is one of the great agents in the history of Hollywood. He's 92 or 93 years old right now, and they honored him the other night in front of that crowd.
That's great.
And he was there, and he was the man that put us together, did a great job representing Morgan, and so we went down there. And Greg Bishop, the great writer from Sports Illustrated, he wrote all of the scripts, and he wrote all of everything. You know, and there's 300 things that he did for our museum, and Greg was just spectacular.
What is the memory that fans share with you of your career most often? When they come up and talk to you about everything that Jim Gray has seen and covered through, decades of being one of the premier sports voices there has ever been, what do you get asked about the most?
I broke my back. By Mike Tyson. What do you mean you broke your back? Spinal. That's now been viewed literally 1 billion times on YouTube and Alibaba all around the world. Yeah. And so people see that, and that's what they reckon. I mean, they also talk to me about the decision. They talk to me about the Pete Rose interview. They talk to me about Brady's comeback 28-3, that interview down on the field. They talk about the decision with LeBron James.
Sure.
So there's quite a few things.
I've heard of that.
But I would think the ear biting, where I was with Mike right after the ear biting, doing that broadcast on Showtime, and I broke my back.
I broke my
Mike Tyson. And by the way, Mike's represented in the Hall of Excellence. We have the gloves from his last fight, as we also have Muhammad Ali's last robe against Trevor Berbick for his preparations in that fight, and the gloves from George Chevalier, which he called his toughest fight ever, are in the Hall of Excellence because he had to leave the country. He couldn't get a license in the United States. So he had to go fight in Canada because he was a conscientious objector, later vindicated by the Supreme Court by a unanimous decision. But he couldn't fight in the United States to get a license. and he went and fought George Chevalier in Canada, and he beat him, and he said that was his toughest fight ever, not only with the government, but Chevalier.
Jim, I know that you are booked wall to wall today, and we probably don't have much time with you. I got
as much time as you need.
Oh, well, then let me just
What do you got? Let's go.
Let me just ask you about this game and how you think this game on Sunday is about to play out.
If I knew the answer to that, I would just go downstairs into the Fountain Blue, away from the Hall of Excellence, and go. But I don't know. Nobody knows. If we'd have sat here all those years ago, would you have said that the Patriots would have beaten the Rams in Tom Brady's first?
You know, actually,
you would have, but nobody else would have.
Well,
I understand.
The thing is, no. So I was working at ESPN at the time, and being in Bristol, you get inundated with Patriots, and that's before the Patriots were the Patriots, for goodness sakes. So just being able to watch them weekly, like being force-fed the Patriots, I did understand how good they were going up against.
Okay,
that
well,
Rams
let's go to another one then. Did you think the Giants were going to beat the Patriots when the Patriots were undefeated?
I did not.
Okay,
no, we did not think so.
So that's the point. You know, nobody thought that Villanova was going to win, and they won that game, right? They somehow figured out how to do it. Nobody thought the Jets were going to win, and they somehow figured out how to win that game. So we don't know. I mean, Tom Brady, who was on the show, Let's Go, that we do on Sirius XM the other day, one of our partners, he said, you know, if they played 10 times, he thought Seattle would win 6. Okay. So I'm going to share that. I'm going to share that quote with him, and you know, if that's what he thinks, and he's you know, probably the greatest football mind in our country, I'm going to go with that.
I think Tom Brady, the quarterback, is obviously peak Tom Brady. Tom Brady, the documentarian who just put together Rise of the 49ers, it might be one of the best things he has done since his playing days. I just watched all 4 episodes. Have you seen the Rise of the Niners? Oh my God!
It comes out this weekend.
It is out. It's out right now. Yeah, you can watch all 4
I've seen
episodes.
all the ads. Yeah,
it is buckets of nostalgia, especially for Niners fans. And there's an awful lot of conjecture here that when we find out this year's Hall of Fame class, that Roger Craig is finally going to be a part of it. And to me, that is absolutely an injustice that he's not. Speaking of Hall of Fame injustices, Bill Belichick not going in first ballot. I'm sure you've talked about that with Tom. What are your feelings on that?
Talked about it with Bill as well. And, you know, it's so sad. It's just wrong on every level. And it has hurt the institution.
I think it hurts the Hall of Fame more than it does Bill Belichick.
Well, Bill, when I spoke to Bill, I said, Bill, in this very unfortunate and upsetting way, you have gained more respect, more admiration, and the people who didn't like you are now sympathetic, because we don't live in the Soviet Union. We live in America, and your records are not erased because you have some personal vendetta or there is some bad process. And let's take into account that all of these other voters blaming the process, if you didn't mark an X next to his name and then move on right after you marked the X and figured out the other 2, and the real unfortunate thing is Roger Craig's name, Elsie Greenwood's name, Ken Anderson, who have nothing to do with the career of Bill Belichick,
right,
or the life that he has led in professional football, are now being lumped and are going to be blamed and are going to be a part of a story that is, I mean, there's not one person on the planet that thinks of Ken Anderson and Bill Belichick in the same breath. It's ridiculous. It's all obscene. So they'll get it right. And I love the Pro Football Hall of Fame. And I love the people who administer the Pro Football Hall of Fame. And I believe in the institution. In this instance,
they got this wrong.
The process and the whole thing is all wrong. And we'll hope they'll fix it, because I know they will. Because I know they care. I know they care. And the voters who voted that way, in my opinion, should not be permitted. I don't want to hear about the process. It doesn't bother. I understand it. And conceptually, I get it. And I'm not looking for an argument. I just think, by the way, this is not to cast an aspersion. But there are some people who are on there. This is not a lifetime appointment. Not a lifetime appointment. What the Naismith Memorial Basketball Hall of Fame does is the best process. Jerry Colangelo and John DeLeva. And I'm not trying to pit them against the Football Hall of Fame. But their process is you have to have been a coach or a general manager for 25 years. You have to have covered the league for 25 years, or you have to be a Hall of Famer. And then they have committees, and very few people vote on these committees. They vote for the pioneers. They vote for the modern. They vote for the women. They vote for the international. And then they vote for contributors. And then they rotate it. So somebody who voted 3 years ago doesn't get to vote next year.
That's good. Look at it this way. I believe in term limits for everything.
but now they can fix it. So just fix it. Just fix it. We all love the Pro Football Hall of Fame. And we look up to the people going in there. So don't continue to let something like this happen again. And Bob Kraft should be in there too.
Absolutely.
And Roger Craig should be in there too. And you're always going to get to somebody who's left behind, and that's not the point. But when it's egregious, it's got to be corrected.
Maybe it's just time to take an arbitrary number, like we're only letting 3 guys in out of the process.
But that's wrong too. What happens if 10 are worthy?
Then let's go with 10.
Okay, right.
I mean, don't you think?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't, they're trying, and Deion Sanders made a great point. And Don Shula used to talk about this. What's the criteria here? What is the criteria here? So it's a moving target.
Right.
And the voters have to judge what that moving target is. It's a hard job because really you're talking about people's lives. It's very important legacy to them and their families. So the voters, you can't, some of these baseball writers who do this, they sell the votes, they don't give away, they raffle the vote, they do all this. Come on, these are people's lives who've earned the distinction of having fair consideration.
Well, as you said, people ask you about your Pete Rose confrontation. I've always said Pete Rose deserves to be in the Hall of Fame, and he deserves to serve his lifetime ban, which he has now served. Pete should go in the next class.
I said he should be in the Hall of Fame while he was alive, and it should have been denoted. Banned from baseball and not permitted in any function. But that didn't change the fact that he had the most hits ever. That didn't change the fact of what he accomplished on the field. And they have artifacts in the Hall of Fame,
right,
denoting those things, his jerseys, his bats, the balls, whatever it is that they have. I haven't been there for a while, so I don't know exactly what they're displaying. So he's not banned. Those artifacts are in there, right? They're showing it. And so, yes, what he achieved. But the fact of the matter is, as long as you have linkage, where if you're banned from baseball, you're not eligible for the Pro Baseball Hall of Fame, for the Cooperstown Baseball Hall of Fame, then he knew that. If I see this sign that says right here, what does that sign say?
It's Damon Bruce.
Okay, and Pete played tens of thousands of games. Tens of thousands of times he walked in the door from batting practice to go to the restroom, to come to the game, to leave the game. Said no gambling. Yeah. Didn't say no steroids. Didn't say no domestic violence. Didn't say anything. It said no gambling. You don't even know how to read. If you don't know how to read, you're going to figure that out. That's like a stop sign.
Yeah. So it's
so he did it to himself. So let's not gloss over the fact that he made his own bed. Now, they should never be linked, because what he did on the field, I'm going to repeat a line, we don't live in the Soviet Union. He made all of those hits. So he earned his way in there. But
you know how many times we talked about Barry Bonds in this town?
Yeah.
Barry, Roger, Roger Clemens, two of the most dominant players of any era aren't in the Hall of Fame, and it's absolutely ridiculous. I could talk sports with you all day, Jim.
Well, you can't condone, if somebody did these things when it's against the rules, but you have to find a way to adjudicate it in a way that makes everybody whole.
I'll wrap up with this because I do know that you've got to go.
I got to go
like 2-3 times.
Okay, Damon, go ahead.
Many Super Bowls ago, it was in Arizona when Marshawn Lynch had his "I'm All About That Action, Boss" Super Bowl. I was at a sushi restaurant at the W Hotel. It was a 2-top, and you were eating sushi at the table. I saw you get up and walk away, and then they brought us to the table. We didn't meet, but I checked to see what kind of a tipper you are. You're a good tipper, Jim Gray.
Well, that was nice.
I checked. I had to look at it. I had to check. You're a good tipper, Jim Gray, which means you're a good person in your heart.
I tried to. Those people work hard. And, we get to go into these restaurants, so we're privileged.
So nice.
So thank you.
So nice to see you.
I'm glad that's a good report.
Thank you very
much. I try to
be.
Damon, thank you for having me on. Good to see you again.
Thank you very much. Jim Gray, boys and girls, one of the most iconic voices, recognizable people in the history of covering sports. Thank you very much, Jim, for coming on by. And again, good tipper. That's the important thing, right? Be a good tipper, for goodness sakes. In just a moment, our good friend Dave Benz is going to come on by. But look, let me thank everyone for being here today again. Thank you very much. And we're going to tell you that tomorrow is going to be Sports Phone Friday. The beauty of pairing with showus.tv is you are able to come on in and join me and talk to me and be a part of the show. So tomorrow, since we haven't had an awful lot of interaction, I think some people get a little nervous. Yes, come on in. Come on in, Dave Benz. It's good to see you, buddy. Thank you very much for being here. Dave Benz, for everyone who doesn't recognize Dave Benz, you weren't out here watching cable TV and our local RSNs, which, by the way, are just doing super all over the place here.
Oh, yeah.
But Dave was a big part of CSN Bay Area when that's what it was, or was NBC Sports Bay Area?
They didn't.
It changed on your watch?
We had to say Comcast Sportsnet Bay Area. They drilled it in our head. We couldn't say CSN.
Whatever. Come on. You want to talk about why this shit didn't work out? We're fumbling over weird things. And then, of course, you left the Bay to be the play-by-play voice of the Minnesota Timberwolves, and now you're back in the Bay, man, and you're entrepreneuring, for goodness sakes.
I am entrepreneuring. I'm still doing, a bunch of play-by-play stuff. I've, had a package with Cal doing some stuff with ESPN and ACC Network, and doing some stuff in San Jose, and I still have the U.S. Open Pickleball Championships on CBS that I do every year, and I'm going down to Naples again in April, which will be great.
Naples in April.
It's the 10th anniversary, so that's great. But yeah, I've gotten this. In fact, I have you. I promised you a shirt.
Here we
go.
go.
An XL. So my company that I've started is called Tickscape, and think like Google Flights or Orbitz or Hotels.com. We are an aggregator. We've partnered with every ticketing company under the sun. All the major retailers, a lot of smaller ones, and we're not in competition with any of them. We're a partner with all of them. And basically, you go to Tickscape and you can see the real-time prices for whatever event you want to go to, whether it's the Super Bowl, whether it's a Sting at Palace of Fine Arts, whether you name it. We've got sports, concerts, comedy shows, beer festivals, theatrical performances. We take in from 13 retailers a total of around 900,000 events per day. And we merge them together, and we end up with about 350,000 unique events worldwide. We've got cricket in India. We've got, footy in Australia, Bundesliga in Germany, everything domestically. I've had to learn so much about so many things outside of domestic sports, but it's totally free. So there's no reason not to do it. The prices you
see. It's a clearinghouse, basically, for tickets.
Yeah, and we're going to send you to do the purchase on the retailer where you decide it's the best deal for you. So we're not taking your money. We're not taking your data. We're not keeping your financials. It's the same prices as if you didn't go through us, except for we just made it easy for you to see where you're going to get the best deal.
It's like progressive auto insurance almost, right? Yeah. Here are your best recommendations. Do with it what you will.
Right, 100%. And you don't have to register. So, we're not taking your info. But here's the one but about registering. We have a price alert feature. So say you want to go to the Super Bowl on Sunday. Now you can be unrealistic and say, yeah, I'd like to get a ticket for $500. Well, guess what? You're probably not going to get a price alert that a ticket came available for $500.
Probably not.
If you put in, $3,000, maybe you might get one. We're constantly checking the data. And so if you register, and to use the price alert feature, you have to register because we have to know how to reach you. But if a ticket hits the price that you want, you'll get an instant alert with the link to be able to go buy it. So, and that's for anything. Concerts.
Tell people where to just download the app. Tell people where to download the app.
Tickscape. It's with an X, Tixscape, Tickscape. It's in the Android and iOS stores. It's also tickscape.com. And
did you learn how to code? Are you like some tech bro dork now?
I did.
Good for you.
I am the company. I have a dev team overseas that I work with, but I did learn to write code. I was one. I don't know if this is a badge of honor, but I was top 1% of ChatGPT users worldwide in 2025.
So you didn't go out much.
I did not go out much. I became a total nerd, man. I mean, there were a lot of days I started with my coffee at 7 a.m. and stayed in front of the computer until 2 a.m. And I learned to be able to I wrote the code to get the data, to merge the data, to create the images. And it's been an ongoing process, and I'm sure I'll be continuing to tweak it. But it's right now, I've had this kind of in my mind as the coming out party.
What lit the fire underneath you to do this?
Our industry, honestly. I mean, listen, you and I, we've talked privately, and I'm happy to call you a friend. And, some of the things we say privately need to stay private. But, at the end of the day, we can both publicly say that the industry has changed. It ain't what it used to be.
So right over there, right across from us here on Radio Row, you see that quadrant is full of student radio stations, which is a phenomenal experience for those young broadcasters. I've gone over and I've talked to several of them. And when they ask for advice, I say, change your major right now. Enjoy this, but don't go into this. Welcome to San Francisco. Have a great week. Loosen up your tie. Fit in a little bit better. We don't wear ties in the West Coast. But you don't want this anymore.
I'm on LinkedIn, and I got a job thing emailed to me like, here's a job you might be interested in. And I was like, basketball expert. And the job was they're looking for somebody to like review AI play-by-play so that they can get it dialed in. Like, dude, that's going to happen. There's probably going to come a time where you're going to put on a game and you're going to be able to pick, do I want Al Michaels and John Madden calling this, or do I want Elvis and Shakira? Like, I mean, that's probably where it's going to go.
So that one frightens me, disgusts me, but I would absolutely click the Bring John Madden button back if you offered it to me. I think I would.
That is going to happen. And, realistically, I think you'll always have humans calling the CFP national championship game, but go
Hoosiers.
There
you
go.
Hoosiers.
By the way, congratulations.
Thank you very much.
But if you're looking to see, Colgate Hofstra, you're probably going to have an AI broadcast crew.
Probably. And those two schools are smart enough to probably figure that shit out too. So I after my time with the Timberwolves came to an end very unexpectedly, I kind of needed. Was it A-Rod's fault? Did A-Rod boot you?
What was next? Let's just say that I don't think the ownership change worked in my favor.
Okay, so fair enough.
But
because you're so great at play-by-play, man. You really are.
Thank you. I still love it. I like to think I was good at it. I won 6 Emmys in 10 years.
Yeah, here's the thing. If you weren't good at it, I'd be the first to tell you, Dave.
Well, I appreciate that. And I was passionate about it. I gave my life to it.
Yeah.
I mean, I had a lot of personal strife that I had to go through because of the schedule, and it was hard being married and being a dad and while living that life. But it at the end of the day, as good as I was, as much as I loved it, I'm still at the whim of somebody else.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter what you've done. So, I very surprisingly was told we're going in a new direction. That was literally what I was told. And that was it. And I'm out of a job. And I did some freelance work and tried to figure out what I wanted to do. But I knew I wanted to stay in the Bay because my son was here and I'd already missed enough time with him growing up. So this idea came to me about, why is nobody doing this? Why does this not exist? It seems like a no-brainer. Like, you got it for everything else. You got it for hotels. You got it for car insurance. You got it for flights. Why is it not available for live events, for tickets? So I did the research and figured out it either wasn't being done or wasn't being done well. And I started working on it. I've been working on it for over 2 years. And I'm, really, I've formed business relationships and learned to code and learned about the ticketing industry. And, I know the names of netball teams in Australia, and it's insane.
So when you're a Tickscape billionaire, you do get to have the last laugh. You understand that, don't you?
Listen, honestly, yeah, that's the dream, right? I mean, I tell everybody, if this does well enough that I can just do this and do broadcasting because I want to do some games.
Yeah.
And I can pay my rent and make my car payment and, pay for my son's, help pay for my son's college, then it's a win.
Where's he going?
Well, we don't know yet. He's a junior. So
it's going to be happening soon.
Yeah.
That bill's coming.
Yeah, that bill's coming. By the way, speaking of Indiana, a good friend of mine I was out with last night, he literally just told me last night that his son got a scholarship to go to IU, so he's going to be going to IU.
Let's go Hoosiers.
Yeah.
Tell him if he gets to pick his own dorm, he wants to go to Briscoe because it's disco at Briscoe. That's how you have.
By the way, what is? I should know this because I lived in Indianapolis for a year and a half, and I went down to Bloomington a couple of times, and I had a great time on whatever the lake is there, but I don't remember the name of the lake.
So there's two lakes, right? It's either Lake Lemon or Lake Monroe.
Lake Monroe.
There
I was
you
on
go.
Lake Monroe.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was a good time, middle summer. And I mean, I had a great, my time in Indiana, I loved. It's a lot of people, it's a flyover state, but there's a lot to like there.
Dude, football school, Dave. Football school.
Yeah, it is now.
Football school, baby.
It's crazy.
It was so good to catch up with you, man. In terms of shows, you've seen any good shows lately? Make it to any fish shows this year?
No. By the way, you need to check this out when you get a minute. Go to QR code and check out the Tickscape landing page on the QR code because I got a little video there. I've learned to do AI video and amongst everything, and I've got fish playing at an aquarium as part of my. It's because like I'm saying, the theme is we've got tickets to everything.
Theme from the bottom.
Because with all of our retailers, like you'd be hard pressed to like not be able to find a ticket to something on Tickscape like through one of our retail partners because we have so many. So you like the little fish thing I did. What's the best show I've been to in a while? I haven't really been to. I'm overdue. I did go see Fish. Well, that was like last summer, but I saw them back-to-back shows when they were in town here at Bill Graham.
Very, very nice. Yeah. The reason why I couldn't be at I was a family wedding or something pulled me away from those Fish shows, and that pissed me off. And I don't want that marriage to work. I got to be honest with you. I don't want to be if you keep me away from the band, man. That's no good for me. Jillian and I went and saw him at the Sphere.
I heard that
a couple of years ago. It is unbelievable.
They're coming back, right?
They're coming back, and I got shut out in every single direction when it came trying to get tickets and in the lottery. So just that didn't happen.
You can get them on Tickscape. I can't promise you'll get to. I can promise you'll find the best deal. I can't promise you that
can afford it.
It's gonna be cheap.
Yeah. No. So my entire 2026 Fish budget was spent on Hoosiers fall tour.
Oh well.
So because I was at the national championship game. I was at the Peach Bowl. We're a little tapped out going to places these days.
Well, I thought you would have gotten Cuban to just, pay for it. For
you know what? Sugar daddy me the whole way.
Yeah.
I had a little sugar daddy help along the way. It's good to have friends who've done well.
I'll tell you a quick Cuban story. So I've had the good fortune of, getting to know Mark over when I was in Dallas a little bit, whatever, and then with my NBA stuff.
Right, NBA circles.
And when I was working in Denver in 2004, the All-Star game came to, I think it might have been the 05 All-Star game was in Denver. And Mark came to town, and we ended up going out to this club, and we ended up at this table with the bottle service. The end of the night comes, and I go to the ATM, and I take because Mark's getting bottles, and the bill had to be ginormous even for that year. And I go to the ATM, and I'm like, the maximum I could get out of the ATM was $200. I'm like, well, whatever, at least So I'm gonna try and give him something. So I go and give him $200. He looked at me like I called his mom, the worst name possible.
You know what, though? That just shows that your mom raised you the right way. This is you. Even if your boy is picking up the meal, you have to make the gesture. You have to reach for the wallet at the very, very least.
Yeah.
So I'm glad you reached for the wallet, even with cubes picking up the bill. It just means you were raised right, Dave Benz.
Well, I appreciate that. I'd rather have him think that think I'm nuts for trying to give him $200 on a $6,000 bill, but than thinking that I'm just a cheap bastard.
There you go. Well, look, man, cheap bastard days will be behind you because you're about to be a tech billionaire. So I'm glad to say that I know you and you can be my ticket sugar daddy someday.
100%, man. 100%.
Awesome.
And I love Dave. By the way, we did shows together back in the day.
I know.
And I always loved, dude. The day I met you, I can still remember first meeting you came on a Chronicle Live, and I was like, I get this guy. And it was like,
Thanks,
and we
man.
ended up doing shows, and I'm so happy for you that you built this and been able to kind of be in front of, it's just the chaos has just continued to get worse, but you're out, you've established yourself, you're on Radio Row, man. Props to you. I'm so happy for you.
Thanks, brother. I appreciate it. And you get the game. So that means a lot coming from you, man. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Dave, great to see you. Download Tickscape.
Yeah, and wear the shirt, man. It's
I will wear the shirt.
Not just to bed.
I will. Good to see you, Dave.
All right, buddy.
Thanks so much for coming on by.
Right.
You play a lot of pickleball?
I do. But
You got the knees for pickleball? That shit kills.
I have to wear a knee brace.
All right.
And I've got my shoulder's not great. I have a partially torn
everything.
Yeah. So I've learned to play pickleball left-handed, which I've actually gotten. So I'm learning new skill
Look
sets
at you.
at age 56.
Look at the evolution of Dave Benz.
Yeah.
Who would have ever thought?
It's never too late. It's never too late.
Great to see you, buddy.
All right, buddy.
Thank you
Take
very
care.
much. Dave Benz, who, again, has walked these streets here in San Francisco. Great little catch up with Dave. And I mean, I've downloaded, when he was like beta testing this thing, he was like, check this out. And so I have the Ticket Escape app on my phone. It's really good user interface. Check it out. I see we got some things to let me know about. No, we're good. Okay, fantastic. So look, we got off to a little bit of a late start today. I've got a few interviews that I got to go hop into. So let me just say that it's officially time to remove Joe Lacob, Kirk Lacob, and Mike Dunleavy. Mike Dunleavy was a bad Warrior player. He might be an even worse general manager based on what we have seen in this Kristaps Porzingis trade. And if it is for a move this offseason, shame on everyone involved for throwing away this season of Steph Curry just like that. The guy's always hurt. I could see how, if healthy, he would be a great Warrior contributor. But I also see the Caucasian Anthony Davis without being a first ballot Hall of Famer that Anthony Davis is. If you want to know how I'm not exaggerating about this, what was Kuminga's biggest problem this year? Now, you can say, well, it wasn't his fault because he was getting coach DMP'd, but the biggest problem was he didn't play enough games. Jonathan Kuminga only appeared in 20 Warrior games this season. Kristaps Porzingis has appeared in 17. He doesn't get on the floor as much, and he's not getting coach DMP'd. He is always hurt. So, Rick Celebrini, you're going to make your money, buddy. You have a walking wounded case that the Warriors just bet a big part of their future on. So, good luck with all that. Hey, thanks to Devin Hester. Thanks to Jim Gray. Thanks to Dave Benz. Great catching up with all of them. And thank you very much to Dustin of Veasan. That was a fantastic get-together. I'd never talked to that guy. I want to go get a beer with that guy. Great guy. Thanks to all of you for watching this today. I really appreciate it. As always, we wrap up with Today in History. Happy 78th birthday to Christopher Guest, who is the king of the mockumentary. I mean, come on. He was in Spinal Tap. This is Waiting for Guffman. This is Best in Show. This is Corky. This is one of the truly genius comedic minds. A Mighty Wind. Oh my God, A Mighty Wind. Such a good movie. Happy birthday, Tim Meadows, 65 of Saturday Night Live fame. Laura Linney is 62. Chris Parnell, Dr. Spichemin, Dr. Spaceman from 30 Rock. Bobby Brown, how that crackhead is still alive at 57 is a fucking miracle. Happy birthday, Bobby Brown. You killed Whitney Houston. Cristiano Ronaldo, 41 years old. Neymar, 34 years old. If you like soccer, there must be something in the air on February 5th because you got two great soccer players right there. Cam Scatterbo's a real man. He doesn't play soccer. He plays football. He's 24 today. And speaking of real men, we don't do a lot of posthumous birthdays. Today would have been Hank Aaron's birthday. Let's see. Today in 1846, the Oregon Spectator became the first newspaper published on the Pacific Coast, which means, Aaron, Oregon actually came in first in something just once. It wasn't in your life, but they came in first. Congratulations to Oregon for coming in first in something. Let's see. Today in 1919, Charlie Chaplin, Mary Pickford, Douglas Fairbanks, and D.W. Griffin launched United Artists. They probably had better movie ideas back then than they even do now. What else today? How about this? Today in 1929, the starting block that sprinters take off on was patented by a guy named George Bresnahan of Iowa City, Iowa. I mean, geez, we talked to Robert Gallery this week. There's been a lot of Iowa on the show this week. I thought I'd stick that in there. But you ever wonder who invents things, right? Like, who's the person who invented the starters block? Now, I know we got a Winter Olympics, not a Summer Olympics coming on, but I wanted to throw that in there. Let's see. Today in 1983, Toto dropped the song Africa. Politically correct? Doesn't matter. It isn't. Geographically correct? Doesn't matter. It isn't. It's just a great song. And a great song unites all people, all colors, all generations. Thank you, Toto, for Africa today in 1983. Today in 2017 was the first overtime game in Super Bowl history. Tom Brady and the Patriots overcame a 25-point deficit to beat the Atlanta Falcons. You can ask Kyle Shanahan about that if you want to, because everyone wants to put that on Kyle, even though what I'm talking about is a blown lead. Why that's put on the offensive coordinator, not the defensive coordinator or the head coach, I do not know. But Kyle still gets asked about that because he hasn't won a Super Bowl out here in San Francisco yet. So that wraps up day number 4 from the single least discussed Super Bowl in the history of Radio Row. It's amazing how little this game is actually the topic in this room. Congratulations to the NBA trade deadline for staging their insurrection. And thank you to all of you for watching. Please come on in tomorrow. My regulars, I'm going to be looking for you tomorrow, my good friends, to join us here and call on in and join us on showus.tv. In the meantime, I want to thank everyone who watched, everyone who appeared. Thanks to Aaron Glatzer, Andrew Bach, and Kashi, who's producing this show. Really appreciate it all around. Thank you so very much. And the last thing we need to let you know, the single last thing that we always let you know, is that sports don't build character. They reveal it. And like that, he's gone.